Well, for the final installment, we continued this the following day, and the reason why I like to do that is if you've gone through cleaning the LCD, by chance, if you've gotten too far here, you want to make sure that it's dried out for one. Disconnecting the battery cable in the back, super important. You don't want current running through the device or powering on the device at all. If you do have liquid in there, you want to give yourself some time for it to dry out. Use a heat gun if you'd like to. I like to let it sit for about a 24-hour period before I continue. I'm going to use a paper towel, just fold it up nice and neat, and going to use this to basically brush the screen as I use compressed air, and I'm lightly going over it, brushing off any dust particles as I prepare to put the digitizer over it. Now, some folks like to use the digitizer, putting it on first and then rolling the cable over this way to put it in. That's more of the correct way to do it. In this model, the digitizer cable is so short, I like to use that to actually guide the actual digitizer onto the frame correctly. And that's entirely up to you, however you like to do it. If you're a little afraid to fold the digitizer the way that I did, it's kind of experience, and I prefer to do it. I've done it that way for quite some time. So I leave that up to you. And I'm noticing just a small spot I missed here, a little bit of glue, and I'll use the compressed air and just gently wipe it down. And it's looking really good. Now you can tell that it'll be successful if the video is posted. If it does not work, this video would not appear on there. And again, once I get another one, I will record it from head to toe of how to remove the glass. But for the most part, it's just like how I told you. Alright, that's been removed. Now we're going to simply remove the clear plastic adhesive for the LCD here. Removing this panel off of it. Okay. And it does have some adhesive that's on there. And I'm going to gently roll this down over the top. Not quite placing it down for a couple reasons. I don't want to press too hard. I need to test this, so I want to make sure that it is cradled and centered correctly each corner. I'm going to apply a little pressure here. You want to evaluate the camera here. You want to make sure that the camera is coming through. You want to make sure that the sensor here also shows. And I'm going to gently just push along the side here. Not too hard, just in case I have to take it back out and adjust anything. That's kind of important. And again, you want a good workbench. You don't want to lay it on a cloth like this. I'm just doing it for the video reasons on where the camera's going to be here. And pushing down around it, making sure that it's cradled on it. Pushing around the sides, just gently touching it. Okay. Now we have our base, camera side here. You got your buttons up here. We're going to go at an angle inward as we place it back in here. So we're going to start down here. Get your headset jack. And you got your lower part and your button assembly here. And we're going to slowly push the top part in all the way around. All the way down, all the way around. It'll clip right down in there. See how you can hear it clipping down in there as I go around it. And if you need to, of course, use your tools. Now, when you have your digitizer back on here, you don't want to use your metal tools because you're gonna break your digitizer again here. Just cradling it back down inside here. And going along the sides. I like to leave the film on there for the consumer to peel off. So this corner's down in there. That's lined up well. And again, these clips were pretty difficult to get out with the putty knife. I just was having a lot of issues with it, but you know, it could have been because it was the factory install there. So okay, working our way around here, and we do have our button assembly down in there enough. And before I push it all the way down in there, what we're going to do is we're going to do just the power test on it. And so I'm going to plug myself in to my static guard. I always do that just to ensure that, you know, I don't shock anything here. And as you can see, we have a full assembly. It's coming on. Look at that. Got our Samsung symbol shooting around here, and it's coming on perfectly fine. And we'll check the digitizer, and then again I will replace it after I power it off. Now another trick, you know, some people like to take this off and then test it to make sure the LCD is still working once they remove the glass. Now the trick on these is once you remove the digitizer, of course, you cannot turn it back off because the touchscreen no longer works. So what you'd want to do is, in this event, you want to plug it in when it's turned on. Go ahead and power it off by holding the power button so that it does go through the motions of a hard shutdown. Then when it comes back up, it will show the battery symbol like it's charging, and then you unplug it, which will shut the device off completely. So when you take the screen off, you can run the test on there to make sure that there's no LCD damage by going through that method. And then once the screen comes on and everything looks okay, you know you've done a good job. And then go through that shutdown method of plugging it in first, holding down the power button for about, I'd say, 8 seconds. You will see it do a power cycle. When it comes back up, it will show the battery symbol that it's charging. Unplug the device, and that will force the shutdown automatically. There's no other way to really shut these down without the digitizer working and you manually doing it. Holding down the power button from that point forward just restarts the device over and over and over again. So if you have any questions, again, feel free to give us a call. If you need to order it, feel free to order the part through us, or if you need us to do the repair, and make sure that you're pulling all these stickers out as you're going through and you're putting everything back together. Hope this helps. If you have any questions, listen below. And like I said, when I get the next tab in here, the tab 4, I'll start from the very beginning to the end, and we'll kind of go. I'll show you how to take it off step by step. But like I said, if you follow the procedures I started with, it should work completely fine.